I didn't really understand the level and the detail that was involved in that. So that's probably my first like holy cow moment, you know.
But now it's so critical to build so fast and reliably that they're actually bringing us in on the power side, so you're on the fiber side and vice versa. And looking back, I feel like we really realized that we had to be subject matter experts. We had to bring in and educate them on the options that they had. And I remember a little history where we started the end user roundtable before your time. And I say this because we lived in a world without real standards. It was all new. There was no customers or end users that were talking to each other and sharing things and sharing some of the infrastructure bills. Everybody kept it top secret because they were all financial institutions wanting to keep everything to themselves. So we had started an end user roundtable, maybe with 3 or 4 financial firms that we would get together, and they would be decision makers within those companies, and they would, talk about things and share things. It kind of really was the start of us being, a team, and going after those markets and really getting them to trust us as, partners and helping them deploy these technologies. And, Corning has come a long way. And one little blip I always like to tell in our history is that, right before, the .com era, and everything was driving to Y2K and the world was going to end once that hit 2000. I remember Corning coming to us, and we were doing such a great job, and we had such huge backlog, almost like today, where it was a year out. They had the parlay orders on fiber. It was going crazy, and Corning asked us to drop all our other lines and take them on exclusively. And we had other lines in the copper world, and that's when we decided, let's just focus on fiber. Let's go with it. You'll sign an exclusive with Corning. And within 30 days, the sky fell. And the backlog went away, and the dot bomb blew up, and there we were, left with, almost no sales, no other lines. And I say this because we got lucky in the fact that Beeline was looking for a manufacturer's rep. And we, again, wanted to keep things that were congruent with our offering. And Beeline at the time sold, wire basket, ladder rack, I believe, or maybe not. I can't remember. But they sold things just to support the cabling infrastructure. And we did a good job. But we got fortunate because, Beeline ended up getting, acquired by Eaton. Eaton must have acquired at least 12 companies since we've taken them on, and they've gone from, infrastructure and cabinets and wire basket and ladder rack and hooks and all kinds of hardware, which we needed on the job site. But they started really getting into the power distribution units, and they bought a couple of companies. They got big in that business. We started getting good sales and customers in the same vein we did with Corning by bringing in the expertise from Eaton and educating people. But, Eaton's gone from, wire basket to cabinets to EPDUs. Then they acquired a company, that were making the same products to grab more market share. And then they turned around and bought a company that made, self-contained data centers. And now they bought another company for $10 billion that does liquid cooling. So we're very fortunate we have these big companies that can make these kind of acquisitions and maintain leadership in the industry. And I think we've done the same with ABC. And synergistically today, we have power and fiber. And, in the AI world and in a data center world, or even in a enterprise situation, you have, 4 things they need, right, to build: land, they say water, power, and fiber. So now we have 3 out of the 4 because, the water is the chilled water, is the liquid cooling. So we really worked hard and long over the time to crystallize this offering. So we're actually kind of in the sweet spot right now, and the time is good as this explosion of AI goes on. And then to add to that with the airspan, bringing that on because, cellular networks are big. It's great to have, wireless networks. It's great to have fiber optic infrastructure. It's great to have power infrastructure. But, today we live with our cell phone. So cell signals are very important, whether we're in the building, outside the building, on the campus. So now that we're reaching out to that community as well, we feel like in the enterprise space where we're not focused in the carrier world, we're not focused in the big hyperscale world. We're really focused with the enterprise end user and bringing them solutions and obviously help with the things that they need to build. And we're going to get into that as, what has that done for us in acquiring big projects? So, big business likes to do business with big business. So I think that's where we've been successful as a small rep firm, to have the best of both worlds because, we're not a big firm, but yet we sit between, big manufacturers and big customers. And that's where we are going to persist and go after these opportunities. So really exciting, really looking forward to Kenny. And, I wanted to get into it a little bit about, from your perspective as a partner and director of sales, and driving the sales. What do you see as our sales blueprint moving forward as it relates to, the scenario we're in today?
So I think our blueprint has been pretty consistent, right? In terms of delivering the message to our customers, listening, understanding the challenges that they're trying to solve for, but also being, really a partner in that effort, right? So um, it's a constant education process. I think that they lean on us just as much as we lean on them. They lean on us to understand what we're seeing, right? Because they're involved in their world somewhat, right? And though they may, I'd say it's a pretty fraternal group um, of folks, especially as some of our contacts move from, end user to end user, let's say, in that world, or consultant to consultant, contractor to contractor. So they do talk to each other, right? But I do think that they lean on us to understand what we're seeing outside of their world.